It's dark in here. I'm making this video during the balsamic phase, which is the ending lunar phase before the Leo new moon. That's August 16th at 2:38 a.m. Pacific. Pretty much 24 hours away from when I'm making this video. I wasn't going to do anything on this, but I thought I'd go on the fly and record something. I'll pop up the chart and show you a couple of important things. And also, since the beginning of June, I've been making videos talking about the Venus and Leo retrograde story and what has happened along the way. From the very beginning, I'll do it from the very end. So this is kind of a recap, too, of the last several days when Venus went into the sun on Sunday the 13th and what has kind of transpired slowly here in 48 hours as we get to this early Wednesday, August 16th new moon. So let's bust a move here. Here's the chart in my dark room, my balsamic phase room. It's really hot in here. That's why I don't have the full lights on. But let's do it anyway. I want to show you here that at 2:38 a.m., here's the new moon in Leo. And it's happening at 23 degrees Leo. I'll make a note of it here. I'll use green, Venus, 23 degrees. We can see here that there's Venus at 18 degrees. On Sunday, early in the morning Pacific time, Venus and the Sun had their merging, their conjunction, and at the heart of that conjunction, they call it a cazimi, where Venus went through its rebirth process, and it's still in its rebirth process, but it went through the cauldron of the Sun to be burned down to its purity. We have that. I've done videos on this. I've talked about this. I did a live stream the Saturday night before that incident. You can go look at my live tab and see what I talked about, answered some questions. And then we had yesterday on Monday, the 14th, Venus trine. I'll put it right here. Here's Chiron right here. And Venus made a harmonious trine with Chiron with each other. And Chiron's been part of this whole story here with Venus. I liken it to, I've been saying, as in Venus is in the underworld, went through a rebirth process, but had some hesitancy, falling apart at the seams a little bit here, more than falling apart at the seams, falling apart and no more seams, pretty much, going into the Sun. And Chiron is along on the journey to help drink a potion, in a sense, to confront one's wounds in the Aries and Leo parts of one's chart, where the merging of the hurt self, the wound itself, was integrated into this rebirth process that happened with Venus going into the Sun on Sunday. It comes out of there with Chiron yesterday on Monday. I'm making this video on Tuesday. On Monday the 14th, that is still lingering. What's interesting thing is this rebirth process that I myself and other astrologers have talked about is enhanced by the phase of the moon that we're in at this point, which is balsamic, which is the ending phase in the lunar cycle every month. So this is the kind of metaphorical death phase, the recycling phase, where everything's dark and silent before we hit the new moon here on August 16th. So you have multiple aspects and filters and I should say themes that contribute to rebirthing, to letting go here. I will also say it's sometimes in these places, there's some of the dark still, there's remnants of things that needed to be let go of. Even after Venus went into the Sun and came out with Chiron, there's still residue. And I think the residue here is part of being human, because you can't let go of everything all in one shot. So I say that to segue into the new moon that we see right here. I'll clear this out, and we will see here the most important part of this new moon. It's the 23 degrees Leo, but here at 23 degrees, Uranus and Taurus, which has been such a major player this year in a lot of different themes and storylines, especially the Venus and Leo storyline and the Mars and Virgo storyline that we're still currently in. The Mercury in Virgo storyline, which Mercury is going to go retrograde here very soon on the 23rd. Uranus has touched all these planets and multiple times. So here's Uranus, which is already touched Venus multiple times, squaring Venus off, is squaring the Sun and Moon in Leo. And here I find a more breaking out and breaking free of the Leo story and archetype with still that death and rebirth residue around. And I also still think that not completely there. In my opinion, Venus in Leo right now is still raw, still walk through a door into being a morning star now. Eventually, we will see Venus as morning star very, very soon here, but still walk through a door, and it still is very raw. But this rebellious attitude, this rebellious energy, this impromptu, out of the blue flavor that Uranus brings when it's squaring the sun and moon is still rocking the boat for Leo energy. Now, you could take this a bunch of different ways. Some are going to say break free. That's part of it. That's part of it. Seeing new things, things in a new light. Totally part of it, since we're dealing with the lights in the chart, the sun and the moon. Those are the lights. I think here that it's a gut check. I am into the new feeling and the new seeding moment and the new regeneration for Leo archetype, Venus and Leo, sun and moon and Leo. I think it's totally there. I just don't think, I think it has a lot of a story, more of a storyline to play out all the way till October, because Venus is in Leo all the way till then. But here we have a moment of like, there is some inspiration here. And I'm a little careful with this one because of the drama and the passion that Venus and Leos like to fuel themselves on, which is totally legit. I'm into it. I'm into it for all of you. But to come out of a raw phase like this and to have this electrical energy, it actually can be discombobulating and shocking for some. Others might be shocking in their actions as a Leo, especially if coming out the last 3 days of a story like this, of a death and rebirth story, they're ready to pounce, they're ready to get out there and show them their new selves, but it's not quite there yet. It's pretty raw. Also, I also think things can be very combustible here with Uranus squaring all this. You know, Uranus is it shakes things up. It's a shaker. It's a mover. You know, it wants to bring in something new, but a lot of times, sometimes it rattles things. And I use the word rattle because it's like an earthquake. It could be that way in throwing that energy, that connection to sun, moon, Venus. So here, I don't think it's the easiest thing. People are going to feel positive and uplifting because it's a new moon right after everything we just went through with Venus going into the sun with Chiron, but it's tricky. This is a very tricky thing, and it will take more of the conservative approach here. If I were anybody, if you're going to launch something, you're doing something like that in the Leo part of your chart, I get it. Just remember, Venus is still retrograde, okay? So it's not going to happen immediately. But as in an intention and wish, as in coming out of a death and rebirth process that's just happening, that's continuing to happen, as a storyline of layers that were peeled away on the way of Venus's meeting into the sun, and now moving through there, there's still things to deal with and piece together. And in a sense, we wanted to, this is my opinion, to take a conservative approach, especially when you have a rattling planet like Uranus that's involved here, that's shaking things up, that's bringing things out of the blue. And at times, not that it's aggressive, but it can come across that way if one has been in an illusionary world with how they've been functioning with the Leo part of your chart and even the Taurus part of your chart. Now, this brings me to a place that I always talk about lately for the last year and a half. Anybody having planets, major parts of their chart in fixed signs, you are more than on fire. I don't know how much you could take, actually. How much you've been dealt with the eclipses before, and Saturn, all these planets that have gone through fixed signs, and Uranus is there, and Jupiter's there right now. So that's why I'm more of the slow pace here, and using Venus still going backwards to chill out if you can, because these are dramatic possibilities and situations with the new moon, and I think we've had enough drama with the Leo stuff. That is me. There's more drama coming down the way as always, but it is the type of drama that could be tightly enhanced, well thought out, and refined, because in the end, this Venus and Leo process is about refinement of your passions, what drives your passions, what at the heart is what you desire. But there's an art to something like that, and it's important that we say art, because Venus deals with the art of things and harmonizing wherever she is. So when you have an erratic electric planet like Uranus coming again at multiple levels here the last so many months and doing with the sun and moon, it's great. Some of you might have a major catharsis in these parts of your charts, and one that's ongoing. At the same time, you push too fast, you get rattled. So it really has to do with your own individual story in the Leo part of your chart. Have you felt like it's been going too fast, that it's been scattered all over the place, that you don't feel completely there? Do you feel exhausted and tired? I say that because of balsamic phase here and a rebirthing process that happens before the new moon. You gauge that and be real with yourself. There's plenty of time down the line here to show the new Leo part of your world, but that is still developing. And especially when we get to September, when Venus starts to move forward, and then do that whole month is going to make aspects with Chiron and Jupiter, and then with Uranus at the end of September, you're going to have a chance to show us what you got, what you've learned, the makeover that occurred externally and internally, the chances to express that self vibrantly. But here, how we do the vibrance so soon after a death and rebirth process is a little tricky. One thing I want to show you about this particular chart that is actually helpful involving Uranus, and it's here where I thought I was going to do a short video and that was going to be done, but here we go. That's how I go. It's here. There's Mars in Virgo at 22 degrees, and here is Uranus at 23. So at this moment at 2:38 a.m., this is an applying aspect where Uranus and Mars are trining each other. Now, this is the way to use this transit, actually, and it's another example of the Leo-Virgo overlap that has happened here since July all the way into September. The reason is Mars being in Virgo for 2 months, Mercury being in Virgo now and about to go retrograde. These transits, along with the Leo transits, they go hand in hand. Technically, they don't, like mathematically, they don't, but they do. So here, Uranus bringing that electrical progressive approach, something out of the blue, something shocking, something to rock the boat, is actually connecting, trining Mars, the engine right now of the chart. Mars is how we get things done, how we take action. It's happening in Virgo here. Virgo wants the precision, wants order, the refinement of systems. It wants to chop wood, carry water, and get the job done doing the little things. And Uranus brings an extra bump to all this. Uranus finds another way for Mars and Virgo to get its job done. Uranus brings this other viewpoint, another tool to actually help this Mars and Virgo story. If I were to do anything during this new moon, it wouldn't actually be the Leo thing. I would be laying low in the Leo part of the chart, and I would wait even a couple more days until we actually see the new moon sliver in the sky, because remember, new moons, it's dark. You can't see the light. You can't see the light of the moon because the sun's light isn't shining on the moon on the opposite side. So anyway, you don't see anything here. So for me, if I would concentrate more on the Mars and Uranus connection here out of anything in the Virgo part of your chart, connecting with the Taurus, and then a couple days later, I would be like, all right, I'll start showing myself out there, just like the new moon's going to start showing itself in the sky as a sliver of light. Now, Uranus, Mars here, I think, is part of a longer story that we're going to see during the Mercury retrograde, because Mercury here, you could see at 19 degrees, is coming close to the trine here with Uranus. It's almost there. It will fulfill itself slowly, though, because Mercury's going to go backwards pretty much a week from this date on the 16th. Those are the things that are popping up on my mind. I will show you the synopsis here. I went as the 12th, or actually it was the 12th and the 13th, really, that Venus went into the sun. The 14th was Venus trine Chiron, like I said, on the Monday. Here we are at 2:38 a.m. with the new moon, and you could see later on, 4 hours later, that the exact Mars trine Uranus happens. There's so much more to all this. We can't forget Pluto in the background working the nodes, but that's it for right now. You know, I'll say this to end things. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's Leo parade. I get it. Just know there's a lot more work involved. And when you're dealing with a fire sign, they have a tendency to move forward a little faster than other situations. They're not going to be conservative in their action taking, so they're going to actually crash and burn a couple times. We deal with this. We know the energy that what happens when we come out of the womb as human beings. We have to learn how to ride the bike, not touch the stove when it's hot. We do these things and we learn the lessons, right? So I think we're at this place right now where we're like, we see things. We actually get a feeling of something that's transformed. It's actually, you could see how tangible it can be for Venus and for Leo, but it's still not there yet. If out of anything, the intentions, the clarity that hopefully came through this weekend when Venus went through the sun, Chiron helping with the healing potion and the vision and the integration there, and the balsamic phase here of the dark moon going into the new moon, surf slowly. If you do have some out of the blue, amazing, inspirational piece of symbolic something that comes during this Uranus squaring sun and moon for the new moon here, then make note of it. Don't pass it over. Make note of it. Does it integrate with the last so many weeks of Venus work that you've been doing in the Leo part of your chart? Does it fall in line intuitively with the story? Does it fall in line with something old that doesn't work anymore, or with something new that is slowly entering and permeating the Venus and Leo world? And if it's that, then you know you're on point, but you don't have to rush. Again, one more time. Uranus squaring the sun and moon can be exhilarating, but the timing is off for me personally when I look at this. So go slow. You could take the new flavor, the new tool, the new idea, the forward future thinking vision for the Leo part of your chart, but you could still let it simmer for now. And I'm going to be done with this video because it's about to be 105 degrees and I don't want to simmer in this room. Listen, you made it this far. You've never been here before. This is a different kind of video I made. I'm Nicolas Polymonakos, a.k.a. Sparkles of Gold, who is also having a major Venus transit going on in Leo. It's directly affecting my world. I am manifesting. I am envisioning too, and I'm taking my own advice. I'm also doing special readings on Venus and Leo. You can go to the link down in the copy. You can find out whatever. I do alternative payment plans, all types of things. I've been pretty busy with sessions lately. My schedule opens up this weekend and it's a next weekend again. There's a little bit more there. Right now, I'm kind of stacked with responsibilities. I'm feeling pretty good about my interactions going on with people and clients in the world. And I am wishing on this new moon for something very special in my life. And whatever your wish is, I hope you find it special too, and that it eventually is attainable. Until next time, I'll see you on the next video.